food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
Welcome to another episode of the House of Ghouls podcast. I am your host, Colby, and joined as always, I have my best friend, Ian Van Gool. Today, we have an awesome guest I'm super excited to talk about. He has terrified me 3 times now. Grave Encounters 2, and we got a new one coming out called Strange Harvest. Stuart Ortiz, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been off since Wednesday. I go back to work tomorrow, so just been trying to enjoy myself.
Very nice, very nice.
Ian, how's your week going?
Uh, Great now. It's Friday, so work's done for the week. So
It's my
uh,
Sunday.
I know, right? A little opposite, but no, week's great. I'm just stoked to be here talking to best friend Colby and Stuart Ortiz. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I saw a horror movie actually last night. I saw Heretic. Have you guys seen
Oh,
Heretic?
well, I have not seen it yet.
Not yet.
Oh, cool. I will not spoil anything then, but I would definitely I recommend it for sure. It's definitely worth
Hmm.
checking out.
I've been being super lazy and introverted lately, not leaving my house for stuff unless I have to.
Yeah.
And I was kind of salty because I did not see Heretic for the secret screening at Fantastic Fest. I
Hmm.
didn't get into it, so I'm still kind of butthurt about it. So,
Yeah, we didn't get it either, but I think we saw the Creep tapes, I think was the other thing
mhm.
that was offered, so that was a pretty uh decent other one.
Yeah, and that just released today, actually, on Shudder.
Oh, is that today? Cool.
Hmm. I think it's the first 2 episodes that came out today. I can't remember.
Yeah, have you seen it?
I mean, I saw the first 3 at Fantastic
Okay,
Fest.
so you were at that screen, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great. I actually met the director Patrick Bryce. I met him at a festival just a few weeks later, Telluride Horror Fest.
Oh
I
yeah.
just Yeah, I just went there for like 2 nights. It was really cool. It was like a trip basically because I just like flew into Colorado, never been there before, and then got like bused to like the small town, and it all happened like within like 36 hours. I was like in or out, and like also the like altitude there is like higher, so like
Hmm.
it's like harder to breathe. So the whole thing was very like surreal. But I went to a bar and just started talking around to people, and I started talking to him, and I didn't know who he was at all. And we were like, "Oh yeah, I made this found footage movie, Grave Encounters." He's like, "Oh cool, I've heard of it." He's like, "Oh, I've made this thing called Creep," and I was like, "Whoa!" I had no idea. Whoa, whoa, like whoa, dude, like it was funny. Like I was like, "Oh, dude, crazy!" And yeah, he was a really cool guy. We just talked about found footage and making the movies and stuff. It was great.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like I know Ian is too. Found footage is my favorite subgenre of horror. So just you alone already as a director have stood out to me for a while, and getting to meet you at Fantastic Fest, dude, it was awesome. You were a very approachable person. You were excited to talk to your fans, excited to talk about Strange Harvest, which was I've said this multiple times. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but it was my favorite movie at Fantastic Fest.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, I mean, it was really cool to talk to everyone just because we made that movie more than 2 years ago now. I guess that was 2022. We shot it, and then about a year later, we did the cast crew screening. And then about a year later to the date, we did the screening at Fantastic. So it was definitely a lot of buildup
Mhm.
to the moment. I mean, we had shown it, we'd done a cast and crew screening, but I mean, that was cool, but that was like the only kind of public screening we'd really done. So yeah, there was a lot of anxiety and a lot of excitement to the building to the actual screening. But it was great, and it seemed to get a really good reaction. And it was just I've never. I mean, I guess we had a little bit of it with Grave Encounters, but like when we made that movie, no one had seen it when we were doing the festival thing, really, and no one knew who we were. So
Mhm.
there were no like there was no one that had seen our work at all. So it was really cool with this movie just because people had seen Grave Encounters. There was always like a jumping off point. People seemed to like that movie, and then they seemed to like Strange Harvest, and everyone was just really cool. And it was really just gratifying and inspiring to talk to everybody there.
Yeah, I literally I cannot wait because I want to talk about this movie so bad to everybody. Talk about spoilers, talk about everything. And so when the public sees this, I think they're going to take it very well.
I hope so. I hope so, man. I'm really curious. I think we got something here that's really special, you know.
I
I
think
think
so too.
I think it plays really well for like horror fans. I mean, like I'm a giant fucking complete weirdo horror nut, and so I have a feeling you two guys probably are a little bit of that too. And so
Mm.
this movie was very much made, you know, by a huge horror fan, like for horror fans. But that said, I think that like the movie also can play for like for grandma. I think it can play for like anyone because
Yeah,
of the just the nature of it being like a documentary, I guess. It's very like accessible.
yeah, I totally agree. Um, I've like since I left the theater because Ian didn't get to go to Fantastic Fest with me. So since I left the theater, I've been telling him about Strange Harvest, like talking about it almost every day to him, hyping it up. And I was scared that I was gonna hype it up too much. So when after he finally watched it, I was so nervous to hear what he thought. But you can go ahead, Ian.
You
You
hated
know,
it.
no, not at all. Complete opposite. But I mean, I'm the horror movie hype man, so that you can't hype it too much for me. But no, I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for the kind of fictional documentary style to begin with. So yeah, I mean, it was a hit for me. It's one of my favorites of the year, and Mr. Shiny is an icon in the making. Absolutely.
Nice. I have his mask in my car. I'll go grab it in a second.
Oh hell yeah.
We need Trick or Treat Studios and Spirit Halloween to get on board because we need these masks next year.
Yes, I completely agree. The Terrifier guys made that shit happen in like what, like 3 or 4 years? I don't know how long it was between Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 3, I guess, but not very long. They
Mm-mm.
like were able to get a mask going like in Spirit of Halloween quickly. So if they can do it, we could probably do it too. I
I
see
mean that
you got art right behind you there. I see him.
yeah, have you seen Stream yet?
No, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
So yeah, the stream just came out and I already got one of the stream masks as well on my
Oh, cool.
Chucky right there.
Well, shit, they have a mask already.
Mm,
I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna do some digging on this.
absolutely. So what I really want to talk about also is I have no idea why. Well, I've heard it's maybe trouble advertising the film, but you've been having some distribution issues of who's going to pick this movie up.
That's right.
I thought it would be like fighting for this movie, who you want to take this movie. I thought that's how it would be. But every single time anybody reviews this movie, we have so many people tagging Shutter, everything. So I wanna know like what's going on with that. Like how like why are they being hesitant about this one?
I don't know, man. It's a mystery to me as well, and it's not. I don't think it's specifically one company. It seems to be the market in general right now is really bad, and it's like from what we've heard from people, like we were hearing this from a lot of people. People are saying
Mm,
this is like not like basically unprecedented. Like this is really bad, and it's bad in a way where just no one knows where it's going to land at all.
mm,
And it's because this huge transition is happening right now and has been happening and continues to happen as things are going to streaming, and that platform and just like the infrastructure just like keeps changing. Companies keep popping up, new companies try to do a streaming thing, like the companies keep merging around, and it's just like this fucking nauseating nightmare of just corporate bullshit that's happening. But the end result is, I mean, the end result apparently is that it's if you make a go and make an indie horror movie like independently. This movie was not made for a lot. I don't want to say our budget per se out loud, but it wasn't made for very much. It was made for well under $1 million. And you know, it used to be that like ten years ago when we made Grave Encounters, you know, we were nobodies. And the movie, frankly, at the time wasn't particularly well reviewed. It was kind of lost in the shuffle of a lot of other stuff that came out at that time. And so it didn't necessarily have like a lot going for it. But at that time, we got like a bunch of offers. We had a bunch of offers across the spectrum. We had one really great offer where the movie was very close, Grave Encounters, to getting picked up by a pretty big company, and it was going to go like theatrical and do the whole thing. It was very close, but then it didn't happen. It's too bad because I feel like if it had, it probably could have done some business like paranormal
yeah.
activity and shit. But we had all these offers, and like they were for like decent amounts of money, and we finally went with one. It worked out pretty well, and like we were seeing residual money from that movie for like years afterwards. And by all accounts, for like an indie movie, it was pretty successful. And that's like I said, without it being super well reviewed or whatever in the beginning. Like I think that's kind of changed as time has gone on, and I think people like it more now than they did then. But um, but yeah, then flash kind of fast forward 10 years till now, and like we basically got very, very few offers, and so we're in a place now where we're exploring, the possibilities of maybe doing like a self-distribution kind of
Mhm.
method, which is scary because, people have had varying degrees of success doing that, but for the most part, it's really hard.
Mhm.
But that's kind of what we're thinking though right now. We might have to go that route. We're still talking to a couple different companies. Um, but yeah, it's just tough, and it's really unfortunate because like went and made this indie movie. Like we put like, our whole heart into making the thing. Like it was made in a very like genuine way where we just wanted to make this fucking cool movie. Like everyone that was there were just basically like my like friends, best friends, just like friends making a movie together pretty much. And like, it wasn't made for much. It didn't take necessarily a lot to recoup it or make the money back. But like we get no offers. And the thing that's frustrating, the most frustrating thing is like a company like Hulu will give us feedback. They'll be like, this was great. We thought it was super effective and scary. We're passing. And you're just like, and we got this from like six or seven different companies where
Mhm.
they basically would say, we love it. This one really sticks with me. It's creepy. And like granted, there's always blowing smoke in Hollywood. People say they like shit even if they don't. But like the sense we got was people were just like, we like it. We don't quite know what to do with it because
Mhm.
of the faux documentary thing, and because it's a little bit weird, and it's not just like really easy to sum up as a horror movie. Like we're gonna pass basically, and it just feels like no one is willing to take even the smallest chance when we've lined it all up. Like we have great reviews. We have a really good Rotten Tomatoes score, and like people seem to like the movie. And like apparently that's just not enough anymore. And if that's not enough, I don't know how the horror indie scene survives, because like we have a fair amount of shit going for us. Our movie should be like in a decent position. So I don't
Mhm.
know. It's scary to me because, normally I'm like the person who's like, let's just go make a movie. It doesn't matter. Like, let's put it together and make it happen, like very optimistic. And right now I'm like, we got to tread carefully on the next one because the indie scene is real tough right now. And it's hard enough making a movie, but now you gotta, it's not just getting the movie made, it's like getting it out there and getting it seen, you
Mhm.
know?
That's wild. I know, like when I first heard that you were having some distribution issues, like it blew my mind because, like I said, like the movie legit is one of the best of the year,
Mhm.
and the fact that like all those companies, Hulu, Screenbox, Shutter, name any of them, they put out a shitload of horror movies, and there's a lot that aren't good. And the fact that yours is so good and they won't pick it up is like mind blowing to me. Like that makes zero sense.
I agree, man. I don't know what to make of it. There's just a weird disconnect that's happening right now, and we'll see where it lands. We'll see where it lands. Like I'm trying to be optimistic, I don't want to paint the scene as fully negative. Like Terrifier obviously proves that like
Mhm.
you can do like an indie thing and like have massive success. But it's kind of an anomaly. There's not a ton that have done that. So, but maybe ours could maybe be the next. I don't know. I mean, I believe in the movie. Like all things aside, it's like it's discouraging to hear that, but at the same time, it's like I'm like, God damn it, I believe in the fucking thing. I think it works. Like I think there's something there that like that works. Like it has a little potency to it or something. And so I believe in it. And I think we got to just figure out a way to get it in front of people, and we definitely will.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely like me, Ian, and then shout out to Chuck. Chuck is the one
Yes.
who put me on the radar to this movie to begin
Chuck
with.
is a demon. Chuck is
Dude,
a force of nature.
Chuck is a monster. But we're all talking if you do go the independent route, we are already like thinking of ideas to help out and get this seen by as many fucking people as we can.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that so much, man. For real. Well, yeah. We're gonna make it happen, man. I think it's gonna have to be a fucking Team Harvest team effort with this one. Um,
Dude, all for Team Harvest. All
Hey, we're
for
here
it.
for it. We are here for it.
And another thing, I told you this at Fantastic Fest. Hell House LLC, that is my favorite found footage of all time. Oh, well, it was. Because like I love the mockumentary, the scares were great. It's just I'm just obsessed with that movie. And I even came up and told you that that is my favorite movie of all time, and I think Strange Harvest just passed that.
wow,
And
wow.
and I thought it might have just been like the experience seeing it at Fantastic Fest, talking to you, but after watching it a couple more times now and talking to my wife, and we're both like, this, I think this might be better.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
D-
I'm proud of the thing. I feel like we captured something with it. It was like it was just the right amount of money with the right team of people. Like we
mm,
had what we needed to do to make it, and like I don't know, we just made it we made it the right way. I've made a couple movies where they were made not necessarily the right way, and I look back at the experience, I'm like, yeah, that could have gone better. But this one was good. I think it comes across on screen.
Dude, the cinematography, the aerial shots in the beginning, the closing shots, the acting, I just thought everything was so well done. Like it's very believable. Like if you're just scrolling through channels and that pops up, you wouldn't know that's a movie. Like it's legitimately like convincing that it's a documentary of a real killer.
Yeah, I was talking to someone earlier, I had a meeting earlier, and this woman said it took her about 45 minutes before she realized what was going on. The scene with the high school girl, I think you know the one I'm talking about. She was
Mhm.
like, she was like, wait a second, I don't know. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's like half the movie, half the
Yeah.
runtime got you. I feel all right about that. But yeah, I mean, I love that. Like, have either of you guys seen obviously you've seen Blair Witch Project, but have you seen the companion piece to the Blair Witch Project called Curse of the Blair Witch Project?
I haven't, but
No.
I've scrolled past it a few times.
Okay, so check this out. This is a thing that was, I think, made for like the Sci-Fi Channel or something. That was produced at this, like, I think after the movie, but it's produced and directed by and made by the same two guys,
Mhm.
Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Merrick, I think.
Okay.
And it's like it's a faux documentary. It's very much like in the same realm as Strange Harvest. It's like a fake documentary talking about the Blair Witch Project, like the film basically. So there's like interviews with like cops and like friends of the people in the movie, and it's actually super well done. Like you gotta check it out. It's really cool. It goes more into like the lore of Blair Witch, and like it gets more
Mhm.
into the story and stuff, but it's super well done. And I think it inspired Strange Harvest in a big way. I mean, Strange Harvest is like Poughkeepsie Tapes, obviously inspiration. I love Poughkeepsie Tapes. That movie is hard. Um, I basically was very inspired by that, and I was like, I kind of want to do this, but just like I didn't think Poughkeepsie Tapes was perfect. I thought the acting was not the best. I think that's probably
Mhm.
the thing that holds that movie back the most. That said, no disrespect towards the movie. I think it's fucking awesome. But I saw that movie and I was like, this is awesome. Why hasn't anyone done this and just done it like a little bit better and a little bit
Mhm.
in a way that's like a little bit more like accessible? Because Poughkeepsie Tapes is great, but grandma cannot watch Poughkeepsie Tapes. You know what I mean?
Unless grandma goes hard.
Unless grandma
Unless
goes
grandma
fucking
goes
hard.
hard.
Yeah. So I wanted
Love
to
it.
make something that was just like could be a little bit more, just for more of the masses, I guess, while still being able to have all the grotesque and dark imagery in it.
That's actually an awesome answer because we were actually going to go into like what was the like inspirations for Strange Harvest. So
Yeah.
that's a perfect answer for that.
Poughkeepsie Tapes, definitely. True Detective season one.
Mhm.
Um,
I did catch that a lot too.
definitely I mean, that's like in my opinion, the gold standard of doing like a detective or police thing that
Mhm.
brings in like supernatural shit. Like it's so well done with just the cult and like the way the supernatural elements are just like toyed with, but they're always on the edges of the story. And the main story is pretty like believable, just police shit, but then like it gets like a little creepy, like in parts. It was like super inspirational to me. That's like what I
Mhm.
wanted to do in like a found footage kind of way, pretty much.
And I'm also a big gore hound too, so I loved how gory this was, but it wasn't like over the top gore. It was like real gore, like believable real gore. And I was like, just watching, I was like, this is so fucking gnarly. Like from start to finish, like the pacing is perfect for this as well.
Thanks. Yeah, Gore, obviously, huge fan. Like my probably my favorite, one of my top three horror movies is probably original Dawn of the Dead. I'm like a huge Romero guy. Dawn of the Dead, 78, like changed my life when I was in high school. I got a VHS of it and it fucking just blew my fucking balls off. And I actually went to the Monroeville Mall when I was
Mhm.
like 16 or 17. I like forced my dad to take me there. He had no idea why we were going to this small town in Pittsburgh. I was like, we're going. And I went there and like I had pictures like it's we like there's a part in the movie where they like ride down like the escalator. They like go down the center. We like did that. It was dope. I fucking love that movie. But like, so Tom Savini and like Gore, like all that shit. I love it. And Tom Savini, especially, like he said something in an interview where he was like, because he was in Vietnam, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he fought in Vietnam. He was a photographer. And he said that when he does his work or did his work, I guess, um, he always knew it was right when he got like that feeling that he would get when he would take photos of like actual dead bodies and carnage and whatnot in Vietnam. And I think, that's kind of my barometer. I mean, I love gore and I love fucking extreme violence in
Mhm.
films, but I don't necessarily love like, gore for gore's just gore for gore's sake. I mean, I can be on board. I watched something like Terrifier and I think it's awesome. It's like it's a lot of fun, but it's not realistic to me. It's
Mhm.
and I don't think it's going for that necessarily. It's going for like hyper reality,
Mhm.
hyper extreme, like over the top. Granted, it all looks really great and is super well done, but um I'm more of the trying to really do it super, super fucking realistically, which sometimes is like awkward or kind of like not cinematic or kind of like not sexy in a way, like real violence can just be, if you look at, any real pictures of, like, which I did a lot of, I did a lot of that, looking at a lot of dead body
Mhm.
pictures, a lot of like gnarly photos. Just they sometimes they just don't look like they usually do in movies. Like there's not a ton of movies that always get it right because just like a body will fall with a hand in a weird position or the eye in some like funny, almost funny, laughable looking position, or like bodies just do weird things that like are, and you just know it when you see it. So I was always trying to capture that with all the crime scene shit, just
Mhm.
trying to get some extra level of something where you go, oh, that hits me in a weird way because it's gory and disturbing, but it also has some element of it that seems like really realistic. Um, yeah, so I wanted to get that shit right. And then I worked with I can't really take the credit though, because it's all Josh. The makeup guy is this guy named Josh Russell. And shout out to Josh. He's like a god. He did like the makeup in like the Ritual.
Oh
And
shit.
he did the new Hellraiser movie. He works with what's what's the director's name? A guy, it lose me now. He did both those movies, The Ritual, and then he did the new Hellraiser.
I know
It'll
you're
come.
talking about,
Yeah,
but I
it's on the
Yeah,
can't
tip of
think of
my
it right now.
tongue.
he's a British guy. But yeah, Josh did the makeup and like he did a fucking he just nailed it. Josh is
That's I was gonna say that's another thing that I mean, we grew up on Rotten.com, if anybody
yes.
remembers that bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what I was thinking of watching this fucking movie with the scenes of the dead bodies.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's kind of my reference is real life and it's real gross in real life. When I met Josh the first time, he was working on Hellraiser at the time, so he had all the like the Cenobites and whatnot in his like warehouse, which was cool. But
Hmm.
I was like I wasn't sure if he was going to do it and like I was like because there's like we have like a without getting into it, we have a child, we have children multiple in the film that are
Hmm.
passed away, I should say. And I was like, oh, we have this thing in the movie. We have a lot of different people that are killed. We have some older people. We have some kids. do you happen to have like, would you be able to do like a thing? And he was immediately just like, oh, I have dummies of kids. That's not a problem. I have a couple right now. And he like walked with us and he had like a bunch of them already made, like, cause you know, it has a bunch of stuff that he keeps. And we were like, I think we got the right guy. I think we found our makeup guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's insane. The that kill with a child and per se her family, that was so fucking smart how it was written. Like, I'm not going to go into detail, but a certain place they're cut and buckets are filled up kind of thing, you know? That I thought that was one of the smartest fucking things I've seen in so long, how that was done.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, that was a gnarly one. Like, I don't know where that shit comes from. That was one of the early things. That was one of the first things I think I thought of for the movie was like, that's probably when I was really in Poughkeepsie land in my head. I was like, I want to do something that can match the just gnarliness, the like just vicious nature of like of some of Poughkeepsie. Yeah, so yeah, I'm although I heard that there's like some new American horror story episode has like a family. I'm like, damn it. Someone else it's like not the same, but it's like a family at a table. But you
Yeah.
know, what
I haven't
whatever.
watched American Horror Story in so long, so I have no idea.
Oh, I know. I haven't it lost me at some point, I think.
Mm. Also, when you were just talking about the mall in Pittsburgh, Ian, weren't you just there like very recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like an hour and a half away from it. So, I wasn't at the mall recently, but I went out to Evans City
Oh.
to the graveyard where Night of the Living Dead was shot, or the
Oh,
beginning of the movie was shot.
Oh, dope.
Um,
That's cool.
but yeah, I was
It-
gonna say, Stuart, if you're in Pittsburgh anytime, soon, there is the Living Dead Museum is in there now. So
oh
it's
shit.
yeah, there's a bunch of like, you know, props and memorabilia from Romero's movies, as well as like random Evil Dead shit, which I'm not sure why, but like that's cool. Love Evil
Yeah.
Dead.
It's in the mall itself. Like
Hmm.
there's like a
Yeah.
thing up. Cool.
Yeah. It used to like the museum used to be in Evans City, but like nobody really goes there because it's outside
Right.
of the city. So yeah, they brought it to the mall and it's like it's gone through its phases, but it's pretty legit now. So definitely worth checking out.
Are you guys both in Pennsylvania?
No, I am.
Oh, you
Colby's
are.
in
Okay.
Illinois.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
outside of Chicago.
Right on. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I definitely will want to come back at some point, I think. Evans City, I recognize because that's like referenced in some films, or like The Crazies takes place in
Hmm.
Evans City or something like that, I think.
Yep. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny because
that's
when we went to the mall, that must have been in like maybe 2000, maybe, or like
Damn.
99. And at that time, there hadn't been the zombie revival, as I'll call it, that kind of started with like I don't know, maybe 28 days later. When do you think the start of, I mean, obviously that was kind of the start in the the horror community, but I guess Walking Dead is really the thing that kicked off the zombie thing in like a massive
Mhm.
way. But at that time in like 2000, whatever, 99, those movies were like pretty niche. No one, those were like, even I mean, I remember going to a Fangoria convention in maybe 99, 98 or something. And it was so funny because it's just like the horror scene, and I guess just the internet or whatever, it's so huge now. Like I went to a convention about a year ago, Monster Palooza, and it was fucking massive, man. It was like a football field worth of merch and stuff. It was crazy.
Were
Um,
you a guest there or were you just going to check it out?
I just went to this Monster Palooza to check it out. But when I went to the Fangoria convention 20 years ago, it was like it was so small. It was like there was not really that many people there. Like John Landis was just like walking around. It was like it's just funny because it was such a different vibe, and the horror thing just was seems smaller, and the zombie shit like that shit was it was truly was nerdy back then. 25 years ago, zombie people were like zombies. What's it? No, no, no. So when I went
Mm.
to the mall, I remember no one knew what the fuck we were talking about. Like I went there with my dad, and my dad's like trying to talk. He's like, "Yes, my son saw this movie. We're wondering if we could possibly get a tour or whatever." And no joke, some security guard there, they arranged with some security guard, and he took us around. He took us in the back and everything, but no one had heard of it. No one knew what it was. We were like, yeah, they shot all around here. And like the security guard was like, Yeah, I think I heard that they shot like a zombie or a horror thing here or something, but I've never seen it. And it was just really funny because now they have a mall, and I'm sure it's like it's much more like well known now, you know. But
Mm.
back
Oh
then,
yeah.
no one knew what the hell it was.
Yeah. Speaking of conventions, man, Ian is actually flying to Chicago next week to do the Days of the Dead Chicago Con with me.
Oh, cool. What's that all about? What do they got there?
They got the whole Terrifier crew gonna be there. Bill Moseley's gonna be there. I think Felissa Rose is gonna be there, if I'm not
Nice.
Yeah,
mistaken.
there's a shit ton of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Onto your point, Stuart, as far as the size, um, yeah, like I remember like when conventions and kind of horror meetups were like very small and kind of niche.
Mm.
And Days of the Dead's the first like legit horror convention I'm going to. And I just saw the other day it's like sold out. It's like that's how big the shit's gotten now. It's
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's like a cottage industry. There's just so much merch and like yeah, it's like overwhelming when I went to that Monster Palooza. It's cool though. I mean, it's like, you know, the audience is there and they, you know, it's in terms of movies, in terms of fandom, I mean, I guess you have sci-fi, but horror is just it's the best. Horror is the best.
It is.
It's the
It's my
100%.
comfort.
yeah. It's the best genre, in my opinion, because, and I've said this before, I think horror is the best movie genre because you can have the unhappy ending and it's okay. Like you can end the movie with the main character getting fucking shot in the head, cut to black. You know what I mean? And like that can be the end. And like that's life. That touches me. That's what life is about, is getting shot in the head and cut into black. You know? That's how I see the world. So horror is the best because you can be the most provocative and like for me too, like for a lot of the material that I want to like get into and try to make movies about, horror gives you like a kind of like a cover or something. You can go, oh no, we're just a horror movie. We're just a horror movie. We're not actually trying to say anything or be meaningful. We're just a horror
Mm.
movie. It's like a way that you can like, and like Romero knew that too, is like you can slide in your own kind of, you know, your own thoughts and your own viewpoint or whatever. And you can put in some of the thematic stuff. But as long as you're still a horror movie, you know, like you can, it still all works.
I agree. And like there could be comedy in it. There could be emotion in it. You could put so many different things in a horror movie. And that's why there's so many different subgenres of horror as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just hope with this movie that like more people will do the same thing because I think this is such an unexplored subgenre of like the mock doc specifically. Like obviously the world gave us Lake Mungo somehow, as if by divine intervention the movie just appeared one day as like the gold standard of the mock doc. But I mean, you know, you have Poughkeepsie, you have a couple other like I guess there's a few things now. I mean, I guess have you guys seen Shelby Oaks?
Not yet.
You know, you've heard of it though,
Yeah, by Chris Stuckman.
by Stuckman. Yeah. I guess it has like it has a mock doc true crime-esque element in the beginning or something.
Mhm.
But I think it's really untapped though, and I think it's a cool way to make movies. I think more people should do it.
I did a film festival remotely earlier, like mid-year, I guess, and Shelby Oaks was part of it, but they weren't giving it out to remote press, so I was upset I didn't get to see that one.
Uh,
But it wasn't getting the best reviews, so I think Chris is reshooting the ending because a lot of
okay.
people are saying that he played it way too safe. But I'm excited. I really like Chris Stuckman. He's one of the people that got me like inspired to do what I do now. So I'm ready to I want to support Chris. I'm excited to see the movie.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see too. My friend did some visual effects stuff on it. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
my friend Brandon Christensen. Shout out to Brandon Christensen if he's out there. He's a director. He did a movie called Z, a movie called Stillborn, a movie called Superhost,
Oh, I've seen
movie
Stillborn.
called Okay, right on. Yeah. He did a movie called The Puppet Man that came out on Shudder, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. He's got some new stuff cooking right now. But yeah, shout out to him.
But we've already been talking for almost an hour and we haven't even gotten into Grave Encounters yet.
Okay.
So, Grave Encounters scared the shit out of me when I saw it before. It's probably the movie that made me jump the most times when I wasn't in a theater.
Nice,
It's
nice.
it left an impact on me. I remember seeing Grave Encounters 2. I didn't hate it, but I just thought it was like kind of meh. But I just revisited both movies a couple weeks ago, a month ago, and I think I like Grave Encounters 2 even more.
Well, that's cool, man. I feel like you're probably in the minority on that one, but that's cool. Everyone sees different things in movies. That's cool though, man. That's dope.
And I loved because obviously I didn't know like you as a person back then, but watching Grave Encounters 2 and seeing your little cameo when they open that door, I'm like, it's Stuart.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That part's actually really funny. Yeah, I love
And
that shit.
then and then for the sequel, you guys, the Vicious Brothers didn't direct it, but you wrote it, right?
Right, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We were working on this other project, this alien movie we had called Extraterrestrial.
Yep.
We were like working on developing it and like just doing a bunch of stuff. So we didn't really have the bandwidth to direct it. So our buddy JP did, who's a big commercial director. And I feel like in retrospect we should have done it, not because I think JP did a bad job, but like those kind of found footage movies are tough. They're hard to make. They're
Mhm.
hard to direct, and because they're like it's like you're making a movie, but then there's this added level of like it has to appear as if it was filmed. So it's just there's always it's just like they get complicated fast when you're like especially like Grave Encounters was such a clusterfuck as far as like we're just shooting in this building and it's like what you see is what you get, like we gave all the actors cameras and we just they shot continuously everything. I mean, there was hundreds of hours of footage, and most of it was shit of just like the floor or whatever, like the ceiling. But that movie was just so we got all this footage, and it was very experimental in a lot of ways, the way it was put together. I mean, we had a full script and we did adhere to it, but there was a lot of improv at the same time, and
Mhm.
we had the ability to do fun stuff. Like we would just put the cast in like a hallway and like just be like, okay, walk down this hall and like something scary is gonna happen or whatever. And like someone would jump out or like fucking make a noise or whatever. And like we did those kind of stupid things. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but we got some really good reactions. When they run up this, there's a part in the movie when they run up the stairs and they like reach a wall basically where the
Mhm.
staircase should be. That was cool because we didn't tell them at all what was going to happen. And I don't think that was in the script. That was something that we like added. So that's like a really super genuine reaction when they went up the stairs because they're like, ah, what the fuck? It's blocked. So but they're just hard to make and I think we had really specific ideas about what we wanted to do and like I think it's hard to even articulate them to other people. They're just hard movies to make. That said, I like it though. And like that part you were talking about is like really funny.
That's another thing I wanted to ask too, because like Blair, the Blair Witch Project, it's known that they improvised a lot of shit to the actors that they didn't know was going to happen. Did you guys do any more like kind of like that? I mean, they didn't know about the wall running up the stairs, but did you surprise them with a lot of shit like that in that movie?
I think so. Like, we would do stuff like that, and then there was just a lot of like improv of working with them and
Mm.
giving them the cameras and being like, okay, you're hearing a sound, react to this. Like the way it was made was just it was really fun and free because we had our script and we would always stick to it, but then you were totally free to just like, all right, well, let's just try this. Come around the corner, something might happen. Like, I mean, we were just running around. I mean, they gave us carte blanche. Here, the thing that's funny about the movie is like when you shoot, that location is a abandoned mental institution in Vancouver, BC called Riverview, and it's famous, a famous location. You've probably seen it if you've watched any episode of the X-Files, you've seen Riverview because it's in all of them
Oh
basically.
shit.
And it's like always it always is like a jail or an insane asylum or prison or something like that. So much shit that shoots in Vancouver, they shoot there. And the way it works is you go in there with a person and you're supposed to be like, all right, we're shooting a scene in this room, we're shooting a scene in this room, we're shooting a scene in this room. But like the producer was like, just tell them that we're shooting in every room. So like we literally had like they didn't know what we were doing and we didn't really give them any idea of the plan. So we had there was a person with us, like a whatever you call them, liaison person, but we literally were just like freeballing it in an abandoned mental institution in the middle of the night, like fucking improvising and making shit up. So that's why the movie has a certain energy. There's certain parts in the movie I really like because they capture some kind of feeling of like fear, of panic that the characters are in. And I think it's just because it's kind of there's a reality to it. Like we
Mhm.
were all in that building just going crazy, like together, making a movie. And you feel it in the movie at times. Like there's a tension and like an unnerving quality to it, you know?
No, I love that because like the reactions do seem like real a lot of the time. And I also want to know, like, did anything like, because you're shooting an actual insane asylum, did anything like actually creepy happen while you guys were shooting?
I'm trying to think if there's any specific instances. I mean, honestly, we did have there were like weird electrical issues, like could be the building. I don't know. We did have weird things, and I think we lost like a P2 card or something, like got completely erased, and it was a big mystery, and we never understood what happened. So yes, and then, but I mean, that building, legit, like I'm not like I'm somewhat of a skeptical person. I'm open,
Mhm.
but like I'm not just immediately like, oh, it's a fucking ghost. But there were times in that building when you have to go like take a piss or whatever, and it was a small group of people. It's like 20 people. So once you left, you were just in the building, like with
That's
your
terrifying.
with a flashlight. And there was a couple times when like you just feel it, man. You feel because that building is the real deal. It's like built in like the late 1800s. They did lobotomies there, like weird psychosurgery shit. Like all these people died there. It's horrible. Like they abuse people. Like so you feel like a negative
Mhm.
energy. Like you walk down because if a place were haunted, that's what place would be haunted for sure. And it would be haunted by crazy people, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, like right before you joined the meeting too, Ian and I were talking because he just got done watching or rewatching Grave Encounters and Grave Encounters 2 back to back. And he even said too the same thing that I said, that he thinks that he might like part 2 better.
That's cool. That's cool.
I don't
There's some
and
fun
I
shit
don't
in that
know if it's
movie.
I like the actual movie better because I love the characters. I love the aesthetic of part 1, but it's just something about the story because I don't like the characters as much in part 2,
Uh,
but there's something about the story in that one that it just appeals to me a lot more. And I love the opening with like all these YouTubers that I grew up watching that like I still watch to this day that like opened up the movie. I'm like, wait, that's fucking Mike from We Watched the Movie. That's the
John
physical
C.
media
Phillips.
guy I watch. Dude,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I don't think the movie's perfect or anything by any means, but we did some fun things like that in there that I think are really cool. Then that actor that's in Grave Encounters 2, the lead, he's like the lead in the new Final Destination movie, I think. So go Richard Harmon. He got
oh, I didn't
himself
know
in
that.
something. Yeah.
I knew he was from because he had that face and I was like he's in something and I know it's something I don't fucking like him in, and it ended up being Bates Motel. He was the asshole in Bates Motel.
That's right. He was in that. Yeah. Yeah. Richard, he's great. He's a Vancouver guy. He works a lot. But yeah, I guess he's in the I'm sure he gets killed for sure in the new Final Destination movie. I'm sure.
I'm so pumped for that new movie.
Yeah. It's been a while, huh? Since we've had one
Mm,
of those. I'm so down.
yeah, yeah,
All
I'm
right.
excited.
R.I.P. Tony Todd.
Yes, that too, man. That like celebrity deaths usually don't affect me. The ones that affected me the most are Chester Bennington and Tony Todd hit me pretty hard.
Yeah. I wasn't
So and
expecting it. And then I started seeing people posting stuff. And I was like, as soon as I saw multiple, like whatever, Candyman or whatever, I was like, oh no. Oh no.
yeah, we were actually recording last Friday. We were in the middle of recording when my wife texted me and like told me the news and I was like, "No fucking way." Because I was actually supposed to meet him in Chicago at the August Chicago Con and he canceled like a week before the con for health reasons. And I
Mm.
saw a couple pictures of him and he looked really skinny and unhealthy and I was like I feel like he doesn't have a lot of time. He does not look good.
That's too bad. He was such a good actor.
I
He's
heard he's
like,
one of the most humble and nice people to interact with as well.
oh, that's cool. Are you guys fans of the Night of the Living Dead 90s remake?
Yep,
The
love
Savini
it.
one, absolutely.
He's fucking awesome in that. There's a whole monologue he has in the beginning when he's talking
Hmm.
about like the zombies and like seeing the zombies and like them overtaking a truck and like shit like that. And he starts crying. It's like really, really powerful. He was great.
Yeah, I love Tony Todd, man. He terrified me as Candyman was the first movie that fucking scarred me as a kid. Like I watched it when I was 6 or 7 years old. Legitimately didn't touch it again until I was 24 years old in the military when I was like, I'm a big boy now. I can fucking watch this movie now.
Candyman is not a kids movie.
No, and I mean I grew up in Chicago too,
Uh,
like right outside of like Chicago, like in the suburbs. So like I knew what Cabrini Green was. So
right.
it fucked with me as a kid, man.
Oh man, that adds a whole other layer because it just has that realistic
Mhm.
element. Yeah, no, Candyman is like it's what I consider to be more of like an adult horror movie. It has, like themes in it that are more adult. And then just it's like Hellraiser or something. It has a weird element to it that's if you're a child, you do not understand, and it's very scary and creepy.
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
So, Stuart, before we get off, we have two favorite questions we like to ask our guests, and I'm gonna let Ian kick these questions off. We ask every guest, and these are my favorite part of the show.
Well, I have one other grave encounter question.
Okay.
So we can either do that now or
Yeah, let's do the
Drop
Grave
it.
Encounter one.
okay. So I did want to ask Stuart. So Grave Encounters, I think it's a bit of a trendsetter. So it obviously it's not the first found footage film, but when it comes to found footage in an asylum, it's one of the first ones that I can think of being that way. And there's obviously many that have come after it. So what is it like for you since you created that? What's it like for you to like have movies take inspiration from your work?
I mean, it's one of the greatest things you can imagine. It's a really amazing feeling. It's super humbling when you feel like you've inspired another person to go and make something themselves. Like it's fucking awesome, man. It's what it's all about, like when I saw when Grave Encounters came out, seeing like random like kids, like like a 12-year-old kid or something on YouTube doing his own version of the scream of the girl in the corner and the scream, doing his own version with his buddy in like his garage or whatever, coming around a corner and his buddy goes and they added a mouth or whatever, and it's just like you can't beat it, like and it's that's what it's all about. That's what art is all about, though. You get inspired by other stuff you see and you just keep it going. But yeah, man, it's the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah, I love that.
See, Ian's always quiet. He's very quiet, but then when he talks, he has the fucking best questions, and it pisses me off because it makes me look fucking bad.
That was a good question.
It was amazing.
All right, we'll get into the fun then.
Yeah.
So uh our question for every guest. So if you had an unlimited budget and the rights to anything, what is one remake of any horror movie that you would make?
Thinner,
Or add on to with the
thinner,
sequel.
Thinner?
thinner.
Hell yeah. That would be amazing.
I've been kind of asking around and looking into it because I think with the success of like the substance, like I think it might be possible. And like, obviously we're all huge practical effects guys, but
Mhm.
I think that there's an opportunity with CG to do like a version of Thinner that is fucking super disturbing because he could be like a fucking twig, like a skeleton like you haven't seen. And I think you could make some really interesting commentary on male vanity, on gender and shit. There's a lot you can do with it. So that I instantly go to that. That'd be fucking so cool to do.
That would be
That is a gnarly
fantastic.
fucking answer.
Like I love the movie, but like it's not the best.
Yeah, no,
So that would be so fucking cool.
yeah. Can you imagine if like, like if you could get like a really amazing actor, if you got like Joaquin or something like that, like in a dream scenario, and you did it in a real like A-list kind of way, like it could be super fucked up and disturbing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That needs to happen.
That needs to happen.
That I like we definitely need that now. Like I'm not gonna
Right?
stop
It's like
thinking
a
about that
property that
now.
no one even like thinks about. People kind of like go, "Oh yeah, that movie was kind of shitty, but it kind of had some cool stuff in it or whatever." But yeah, that would be the one.
I've never once thought about a remake of Thinner happening ever. And I do like that movie.
Yeah. No, it's a great concept.
That's insane. All right, Ian, you ready to kick off the next one, or you want me to
Go
ask that
ahead.
one? Me?
You got
Okay.
it. You got
So
it.
this is our other favorite question. It's not really a question, it's more of just it's out there if you need it. But if you ever need an extra for anything in a movie, you need to kill an extra off, you need to kill somebody off, let us know.
I might let you guys know as soon as like this week because we're one thing that we're doing in the movie is we're that we have learned it was really great doing the festival thing because you get the movie basically tested in front of an audience in a way and you
Mm,
get to see people's reactions. And we have some AI imagery in the movie that was basically done because we ran out of time.
mm,
But uh we thought it worked pretty well, but the audiences are extremely savvy and fucking people picked up on it like that. And so we're replacing that shit with real people. And there may be an opportunity in there for y'all to get in there, maybe depending on. I'll let you know because it's honestly like it's a hard thing, like like because you have to if you have to cast these kind of roles and
mm.
like find them, you have to get people to sign off there for their likeness. Like it's not the easiest thing. So maybe you can make something happen. I'll let you guys know.
Super down.
Yeah. We just want to die in movies. That's it.
Yeah.
Dude, Stuart, I'm actually flying to Brooklyn in January to be killed in a found footage horror movie.
Oh fuck yeah.
It's called the Willowbrook Tapes. It's about some hospital in Staten Island. It's
Uh-huh.
like a real hospital, like the Seaside Hospital or something like that. And
That sounds like a cool location.
I'm getting the peak kill of like the hacksaw scene in Terrifier, the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting the peak kill in this fucking movie.
Oh, that's dope, dude. That's sick. That sounds
I
like a
can't.
cool location too. That like, man, it's so creepy in the like Staten Island institution. I can just see it. It's like it's a definite vibe. That sounds
Yeah,
cool, man.
if you go on my Instagram, I've been promoting it for probably a few months now, and the director reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, can you jump on a Zoom meeting with me and my executive producer?" And I thought it was going to be about like budgetary talks, like because I've been promoting for him and everything. And because we haven't interviewed them or anything, I never asked them about being in the movie. But he was just like, "So, how do you feel about being in the movie?" I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And he's like, "And it's not just a cameo. Like you're gonna get slaughtered." I was like, "Say fucking less. I will buy my ticket tonight."
Dope, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I'll reach out to you guys because we might need some pictures for before people died. This is what they look like, kind of thing.
I'm super down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super down.
Cool, man.
Anything upcoming that you wanted or could talk about?
Well, I can't say I have anything official on the radars. We're still trying to deal with Strange Harvest and what we're going to do as far as where we're going to land with distros. That's kind of my main thing. But I am actively writing what I hope will be my next film, which is a serial killer film. I don't want to say too much because the premise is pretty strong and
Mm.
I don't want to give anything away. I'll just say it's a very realistic take on a serial killer thing that I could relate. Probably the closest to is the show Mindhunter.
Oh,
Oh, all
let's go.
the interview shit in that show, like with the serial killers, is like I think fucking awesome and like some of the best we've gotten. And like that's what inspired me for this movie directly is the serial killer interviews in Mindhunter.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm all in already.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Serial
love
killers, man.
Mindhunter.
seeing the last movie that you had inspiration for, and that's fucking amazing. So I can't wait for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Serial killers is just, it's a well you can keep going back to. It's just, David Fincher knows that. You can always go back for
And it's
serial killer shit.
effective.
It is. It is. I mean, and, there's serial killer shit is fucking fascinating for a reason, man.
Mhm. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for giving us your time tonight, man. I've been wanting to ask you to come on for a while, and then meeting you at Fantastic Fest, I was like, hey, This is a good opportunity to finally ask Stuart.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thanks for having me on. It's fun to talk about shit. And like honestly, anytime, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once we figure out more distribution stuff, we could probably have you back on again to promote the movie again once you find a spot or once it gets released, we'd love to have you back and talk more and just talk more about your upcoming movie once you can release details about that.
For sure, man. I'll keep you guys up to date and I'll let you know about all this other stuff too.
Cool.
So-
So I'm gonna when I hit stop recording. Oh, sorry, Ian. When I hit stop recording, I want Stuart to go grab that mask so we can look at the mask.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead,
I was
Ian.
gonna, I
Sorry.
was gonna say too. I'd love to have you back just for like a topic episode.
Mhm.
'Cause
For
I,
sure, man.
I know
Yeah.
you're a huge horror movie fan, so
Yeah,
just
you know
to,
your
just
shit.
to bullshit about horror movies, that would be dope.
Oh man, I won't shut the fuck up if you start me going.
Fine with it.
Perfect.
Just want to say thank you. Thanks for taking
Cool.
time out. We appreciate it.
Stuart, do
Yeah,
you want to
thanks,
tell
guys.
people where they can follow you on, I don't know if you have TikTok or not, but I know you're on Insta.
I think it's at I don't even know. Yeah, I think it's at Stuart or underscore Ortiz. Where do I find this information? Yes, at Stuart underscore Ortiz. And also, I make music. You can look me up on Spotify, y'all. My musical name is called Blac Corset. Blac Corset without a K. So BLAC Corset. Check
Are you
me
on
out,
Apple
y'all.
Music too, or just Spotify?
Yeah. I should be on all of them, I think.
I'm looking it
Oh,
up right
hell yeah.
now.
Check it out,
Same.
man.
How do you spell corset again?
It's BLAC and then Corset is CORSET.
There we go. Following. Let's go.
Be kind because I've only been doing it for a year.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'll check it out right after this.
Cool, man.
But yeah, again, Stuart, thank you so much, man. I can't wait to see the public's reaction to Strange Harvest, and I can't wait to hear more about this other movie you got coming out.
Thanks, man.
But thank you guys for listening to the House of Ghouls podcast. Don't forget to give us a review, tell us what you think, keep the show going. So, as always, we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
There you go. That's it.